good grasps of the game, but just need that extra coaching and push to get to the next level. And then we have the tier 3s, players who are brand new to the game. What we're bringing you tonight is a tier 1 series and a tier 2 series. And I'm looking super excited for this upcoming matchup. Flash, tell us who we got.
Well, today we're going to start off with DocHoliday versus CantShoot. Now, for those of you who don't know, DocHoliday is, pretty out there in the StarCraft community. He has been here for a while now, did CPL last season. And in general, I have quite a bit of beef with him because we're both Magic the Gathering rivals, as well as just wanting to kind of shit-talk each other all the time. So it's some good stuff. I love Doc. I still need to have a grudge match with him, but he will be leading us off today as a Zerg player.
Yeah, and then we have CantShoot, who I honestly don't know which race CantShoot is. I believe he's Terran. I'm trying to look up some history on him, and I think this is his first CPL. There's no, from what I can find, unless he's under a different name, there's no prior information on him. Whereas DocHoliday, this is his second CPL. He used to be on Team Supply Block, and he actually had a pretty decent record. And that time he was on the B team for Team Supply Block, and he had a 50% win rate. He won 3 series out of 6 series, so he's definitely knows his way around StarCraft, and he's just looking to continue to. There's people who've been playing this game for years and years. Myself included, and there's always things you can improve on. So the best mindset you can have going into these games, especially with the Coach People League, is to not take it. Take it seriously. Have your rivals, because that's the best way to improve, is to have a rival. But don't take yourself so seriously that you get angry and frustrated and want to quit before you even begin. So I'm looking forward to, with Flash, getting into this game, just jumping right to it, and bringing some amazing StarCraft to you guys.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. I'm going to start up the game right now, and again, I've practiced with Doc a few times. He's an awesome guy to practice with, really positive. I know he just kind of got into StarCraft recently, or at least getting more serious about it, but he's a pretty cool guy to hang around, talk with. So if you guys do see him on any of the chat rooms and Discord, hit him up, talk to him a little bit. He's awesome, great guy.
All right, so the first map is Circuit Breaker's very standard map in terms of StarCraft today. It's old. It kind of is the standard, along with Fighting Spirit, for standard games. Usually, you see generally nice, decent macro games, especially out of the tier 2, tier 1 players. You usually see some quite more refined mechanics, which usually lead to some really exciting games. We got Zerg in the bottom right, DocHoliday, and we have CantShoot, who is also Zerg, in the top left. So we're actually going into this as a ZVZ. So I actually really enjoy ZVZs, and I'm just gonna take a second to explain why. It's very dynamic. It takes really great control, because if you lose too many drones at X point or too many Zerglings at Y point, the game can swing totally into your opponent's favor. It takes a lot of perfect micro and extreme knowledge of timings and build orders.
Yeah, we see DocHoliday here going with the 9 hatchery build, not super popular of a build order, but he has chosen to go for that. And on the other side, it looks like CantShoot has gone for the overpool build. So I do not believe that the overpool is going to be able to punish this 9 hatch, especially if DocHoliday goes for the pretty standard 9 hatch, 9 pool, 9 gas is the build order here. Again, we don't really see this. Mostly 9 pools, overpools, 12 pools, and 12 hatches are what is most common here in StarCraft, but we do see the overpool gas coming out for CantShoot. So it looks like DocHoliday, I think, is going to be at a slight economic advantage going into this game. We're going to see how good his Zergling micro is to defend that early hatchery, though.
Definitely. It could be CantShoot could possibly be going for just really, really fast, maybe a fast layer, or possibly just really fast gas for speedling, and just lots of speedlings. And hold that thought. Drones coming down to the natural. Looks like CantShoot just really wanted that early gas and is going to take that expansion. It could be just a really quick layer.
Yeah, it could be as well. Nothing being used with the gas so far, wanting to prioritize that hatchery. But now we've got the 6 Zerglings walking out across the map here. And DocHoliday's pool is still not done yet. It's going to finish, and hopefully when this Overlord pops out, he makes 3 Zerglings immediately. Yes, that's exactly what he does. The hatchery also already done now. So by the time these Zerglings get across the map, again, very lucky on DocHoliday's part that he actually spawned cross map, making this rush distance much longer for CantShoot's Zerglings. But CantShoot behind this is getting his own hatchery up. He's actually looks like he started, yeah, going for the layer first before the speed, and DocHoliday's lings are going to be out in time to deal with these initial 6 lings from CantShoot.
You know, this is what I was talking about, build order timings. You need to know your build order, especially when in cross-map position, ZVZ.
Ooh, DocHoliday's
oh my gosh, I don't know if he's going to have enough Zerglings here to hold the ramp.
Oh my god.
He didn't have a good round there. What happened is he had too few Zerglings in the middle of the ramp and didn't make a good enough semicircle. He is able to clean it up, but that was scary there for a second. There was a lot of orange Zerglings.
Yeah, he lost actually a whole larva of Zerglings worth because it was an 8 Zerglings versus 6, and then the last 2 Zerglings that DocHoliday cleaned up the fight with were Zerglings that were extra. Those were the 9th and 10th Zerglings. So DocHoliday's actually down a larva right now, essentially, but he's making a ton of Zerglings, really wants to be defensive, and in the meantime, CantShoot's actually leaving Zerglings at home now, realizing that he's done a decent amount of damage, I would say, took a larva off of DocHoliday, and now probably wants to play defensively here to probably establish his new hatchery. But maybe actually he looks like he wants to continue to pressure DocHoliday, force him to continue to build more Zerglings rather than drones. But DocHoliday here actually went for speed first. His Zerglings have speed compared to CantShoot, who doesn't have speed yet.
And, you know, this is a great maneuver by CantShoot. He's actually, excuse me, DocHoliday. He's actually circumventing around the map. I don't even think he knows where he is. He's just taking a wild guess. He still hasn't found where CantShoot's location is. He did not do that drone scout.
But you know what's actually interesting is that because he doesn't know where they were, he wouldn't have gone, might have gone through the center of the map. And this means that his Zerglings are not going to be seen by CantShoot. Meanwhile, DocHoliday making a lot of Zerglings back at home right now to defend against this counterattack by CantShoot. But at the same time, the Zerglings streaming into the base of CantShoot from DocHoliday. He's going to get so much damage done.
Both Zerg players are in a lot of trouble here, but unfortunately for CantShoot, DocHoliday is microing his Zerglings a little bit better back at home and is cleaning up that attack. Meanwhile, CantShoot had no defense. He went straight for that layer, straight for that spire, did not make any more lings, and lost all of his drones, leading to the GG tap out.
GG from there. DocHoliday somehow managing to skirt those Zerglings by the Zerglings of CantShoot and ends up winning this game. Very lucky for him because, again, he didn't know where CantShoot was. He actually had no idea. So he ended up getting a lucky bit of getting the counterattack off because CantShoot didn't see the Zerglings running by.
Absolutely, and you know that's just one of those things that sometimes, you know, luck. It happens. Things happen in this game that work in your favor. And going back to what I was saying before we got interrupted by that Zergling attack at the ramp, you know, build order timings. If you know your build order timing, even if you can't scout the other Zerg in time, if you know your timing, like, okay, if he perchance does X, I should be able to get my Zerglings out just in the nick of time. The only fallacy there where he kind of messed up is when he backed up his ramp and then turned around to attack, he only had 4 Zerglings attacking halfway up the ramp, whereas CantShoot was able to get more Zerglings at the bottom of the ramp to surround. He had 6 Zerglings, which is why he won that initial engagement. Luckily for Doc, though, all those Zerglings are very wounded, and that follow-up wave was able to clean it up. But just great micro by Doc at the very end there to just hold that off and to make that counterattack.
Yeah, I think something that CantShoot should realize next time is, you know, even though he managed to win that initial fight, get technically a larva advantage, he should realize that because Doc went for the 9 hatch build and he went for the overpull into hatch build, that he should realize that Doc is going to have extra, extra larva overall because of the 9 hacks, the early hatchery. So he should probably play a little bit more defensively next time, realize that he has a tech advantage because Doc is going to have later gas, he's going to have later tech, and depending on if he went for link speed, which he saw that Doc had link speed, then he would realize that Doc is going to have a much later layer, play safe, get those metas out, and try to punish a tech timing instead. So, you know, potentially he could have held on if he decided to defend. But again, luckily enough for him, when he went for the attack, Doc managed to skirt Zerglings around him, so he didn't realize that Doc was going. Otherwise, he might have built a Sun Colony. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I absolutely agree. If he had seen those Zerglings, he could have fell back, bought time at his ramp, maybe even pulled drones, but he would have had the mute advantage. Game could have swung his way. That's just StarCraft, people. That's how it goes sometimes.
And it's CVZ, you know, everything's on the knife's edge. But anyways, let's get into game number 2 after an excellent game there by DocHoliday, and also still well played there by CantShoot. So both players playing very well. Again, this is what I think this is more of like a upper tier 2 game. Because these players definitely have a very good understanding of the way that they need to play the build orders and even micro for that matter.
Absolutely. This is definitely exciting tier 2 play because, you know, there's a wide range in that tier 2 area where, you know, the people who are at the bottom of the tier 2, it's fun to watch them progress and get better and better and work their way up and start beating people that they used to lose to. And that's the exciting thing about CPL is seeing, again, those rivalries. We're seeing that rekindling of competition starting back up with the CPL, and it's great to see that fostering among the community. And yeah, I mean, it's nice to have, you know, that you know, what do you call it, that gumshoe, and call somebody, you know, a dirty Zerg and whatnot, but always keep it friendly, guys. Always keep it professional.
Yeah, good competitive camaraderie. But anyways, we're getting into game number 2. DocHoliday spawning here at the top left on Fighting Spirit as the red Zerg. Meanwhile, CantShoot down here at the bottom right-hand position. Again, cross map as the white Zerg. So once again, the greedier build option here, 12 hatch, 9 hatch, maybe even 12 pool. The more economic friendly builds are what really is going to set these players apart. And DocHoliday once again looking like, oh, no, never mind. He actually went for the 9 pool. I thought he almost saved it at the 300, so thought he was going to do that. But both players actually opted for the 9, actually no, CantShoot went for overpool instead.
And it's interesting, CantShoot, so he lost, so he got to pick this map. He picked Fighting Spirit, again, a staple of the standard meta games that you see in StarCraft. And so I was expecting him to do a more economical build, kind of DocHoliday putting some interesting.
Man, no excuses here, Doc. What? Come on.
As I was mentioning, though, when you get these more standard maps, you usually get those timings. You usually have those timings down very well. And I was actually expecting CantShoot to maybe do a copy, you know, a mirror of Doc's build. But here we are. We're seeing both Zergs, slightly different variation of openings, but still very similar.
Jesus, Doc. Oh boy, if only you knew this game was going to get casted, Doc, you wouldn't have maybe said all of this. But anyways, Doc is going to open up with the 9 pool speed, and unfortunately for him, cross map, and even more unfortunate for him, the fact that CantShoot opened with the overpool build. So economically, CantShoot is going to be well ahead economically, and in terms of gas intake as well, they're pretty much even. CantShoot's only like about 70, 60 gas behind, and obviously that can make a difference, but CantShoot's just going to opt for getting that natural expansion right now for the extra larva, and DocHoliday has gone for the very fast layer immediately, as well as the speed follow-up.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Doc continues to pump drones, lings, or if he tries to save up for an expansion himself. And that's the juggle you have to make as Zerg. If you drone too much and don't have enough lings, the enemy Zerg is going to counter and potentially harm your econ. If you build too many lings, oh, here we go. So micro is very important here. A lot of people don't micro their Zerglings.
Yeah, Doc once again losing an early Zergling there. He ended up losing 1, and meanwhile CantShoot not losing a single one, not even taking any Zergling into the red. So DocHoliday is going to be behind by a Zergling, but we'll see if CantShoot gets greedy with these Zerglings or decides instead to just play passive with them. I would say play passive, considering the timing. If you have to think about it this way, CantShoot realized that he went for overpool build, which means that DocHoliday, because DocHoliday's Zerglings got to his base right as his Lings exited his base, he should know that DocHoliday has the early pool, which means he must have gone for 9 pool or some kind of early pool. So he should know to play a little bit defensively right now, considering that he's gone for this early hatchery.
And definitely keep those Zerglings from running up the ramp. If they get up there, especially with that Zergling speed now kicking in, they're going to start picking off drones, and that's just going to hurt his econ, slow him down. He won't have nearly as many Mutalisks later to deal with DocHoliday's build. Oh, losing a drone there.
Yeah, Doc's doing a pretty good job of microing these Zerglings right now. Managed to pick off one of the drones there without losing a single Zergling. But right now, it looks like he's getting a little bit trickier. No, gonna snipe a second drone. That's actually huge right now for DocHoliday. The fact that he's behind on Larva, behind on drones. So he's gonna need to manage to catch up somehow. Now only looks like Let's take a look at the unit count. Only 7 drones left mining on minerals. One of them is going to even make a spire. Meanwhile, DocHoliday back at home is actually got only 5 drones. Started to make a sun colony, and I think actually one of the mineral patches is blocked off by this wall. Yeah.
Oh no.
DocHoliday.
He has to pray that when this spire finishes, he can finish off CantShoot with mutas, because blocking off 3 mineral patches is going to slow his econ down big time.
Yeah, but look at his attack.
Oh no. He's got to hold that ramp. He can't run down there. That's just too many Zerglings for him to engage down there. He wants to pull him up and surround him up at the top of the ramp, not the bottom of the ramp. Pull back, Doc.
Exactly, especially with this second follow-up wave of Zerglings right now. CantShoot's really putting on the pressure here. Realizing that DocHoliday has a slightly earlier tech. The Spire has finished right now. Mutalisks are on the way. So CantShoot needs to get something done with this extra Zergling count that he has right now. DocHoliday doing a pretty good engagement here at the top of the ramp, but CantShoot maybe just has too many Zerglings.
And definitely falling back to the Sunken is a good idea. Try to save the drones, use the Mutalisks to turn the tide in his favor, but he needs to immediately counterattack at this point before CantShoot gets his Spire going, which has not started yet. This could be the end for CantShoot.
Yeah, CantShoot actually...
Evolution Chamber!
Yeah, CantShoot's gone for the Evo Chamber instead because he realized that the Spire's gonna be well too late to deal with this right now. He's just trying to I think at this point he should just mass link. Just only build Zerglings.
Picking off drones over at DocHoliday's base!
Yeah, he is getting a few right now, actually. I'm not sure how many he actually ended up getting. DocHoliday's only down to 7 drones left. Meanwhile, CantShoot start up his spore colonies. He's got quite a few drones at both bases right now, but he's starting to get those spore colonies out. He just needs to mass produce those Zerglings to just put enough pressure on DocHoliday where he can't just send every single Mutalisk across the map right now.
And this is just terrible for CantShoot. He's not going to get those spore colonies up in time before he loses every single drone. This is going to set his economy back big time. And this is going to allow DocHoliday the drone back up, even though he's got 3 mineral patches blocked off. He can actually, with the Mutalisk providing air cover, take an expansion and kind of even up that score.
But the GG. That's going to be it for CantShoot. I actually think he might have GG'd a little early there. He had the 2 spore colonies at both of the bases, so I'm a little bit shocked right now that CantShoot decided to choose to GG right there. I definitely think that he might have been behind, but DocHoliday with that misposition on the buildings may have actually swung the favor back into CantShoot's favor, considering the economy of Doc was not there at all.
Well, you know, Mutalisks are such great mobile units. He could have, like I said, covered for his second hatchery, but that would have given CantShoot time, I feel, to shore up his defenses and possibly gone later into the game. But sometimes when you suffer those mental defeats, and that's the biggest thing in StarCraft, is from a caster standpoint, we're like, oh shoot, he should have done this or this, and it's easy for us to say that. But when you're actually in a game, and I'm sure you've experienced this, you get that mental fatigue sometimes. You're just like, oh my gosh, he's already got mutas out. How am I going to beat this? My only advice is to always stay positive and fight until the very, very end, until you know without a doubt that you have to concede.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you there. And, you know, listen, when you get those spore colonies up, you have a way of defending yourself, and you just need to be able to make sure that you can just keep the tide going, keep the game going, and just find avenues of attack. Small advantages here or there, especially in a mirror matchup, is really what drives the game. And, you know, especially in TVT, I mean, we always rave about how, at least I rave about how I hate TVT, but really it's a game about getting those tiny, tiny advantages and really pushing them to the end, and that's how you really get victory there.